Hey there guys, so today I'm going to be doing a video all about what YouTube used to be like versus now, and also speaking about cancel culture and just the kind of state of affairs that YouTube's in just now, and how I feel like it's going to be going forward, and just how it can affect people even as small creators. If you're interested in this video, please just keep on watching. So YouTube started in 2005, so I was still pretty young. I probably didn't start watching till a good kind of 2008 to 2010, and I remember I used to watch all of kind of the kind of bigger YouTubers, I guess. I used to watch Shane Dawson way back in the day. I used to be a really big fan of his. I watched kind of really early on Good Mythical Morning, and I've watched them even till now. To me, that's what YouTube used to be. It used to be a kind of fun platform where you got to watch your favourite creators, and they would just vlog and they would do these videos, and it was really fun, and you kind of cared about going around with their day, and when they used to go to all these conventions and everything like that, and it was just a bit different as to what it is now. For me, the shift with YouTube really happened when YouTube stars, if you will, kind of shifted more into the mainstream media. I feel like YouTube stars and celebrities were always just completely different. Nowadays, I feel like, you have YouTubers, all these people are getting like taken photos of by actual paparazzi, and they're on Twitter moments, and they're in the news, they're in The Guardian, they're in BBC, they're in actual news sources, and they're being treated like they're celebrities. And I feel like that was a really big shift as to what happened to YouTube. And honestly, in my opinion, that was definitely the start of the decline of what YouTube was and what it has now become. But what's happened is now, with things like Twitter and the news right at our fingertips, and YouTube being social media and every other social platform being right there in our hands, what we have is this very, very quick reactive society where as soon as something happens, we're all over it. It's all over the news, it's all over Twitter, which can be really good in certain scenarios and when we all need to band together. But I think that cancel culture has sort of become something else, and it's become something that a lot of creators are really afraid of and hesitant about. So, according to Urban Dictionary, cancel culture is a social attitude that facilitates a unanimous agreement amongst multiple people that somebody is worthy of hate and slander due to the controversial behaviours that they have engaged in. I would say that this really does give a real overview of what cancel culture is, and I'm sure it's something, if you're on Twitter or even any kind of social media, that you are aware of, especially with recent scandals such as Shane Dawson and Jenna Marbles, and I think we're on Dramageddon 3 or 4 or something by this point. It's hard to keep up with, but this is where people get cancelled, and sometimes their career survives it and sometimes it kind of doesn't. Cancel culture is a really difficult one because even Urban Dictionary seems to pause when giving the example. It gives an example of someone saying something that I'm not going to repeat in this video because it's completely derogatory and untrue, but they are saying something bad. The person they're conversing with says, yeah, she posted that like 4 years ago, she said that, I'm sure she's really sorry. The person counselling this person says, well, no one seems to care about that. They're saying that this person's racist because even though the tweets are 4 years old, she still said it. And then the person, the kind of, I don't want to say protagonist here, but the person in favour of giving this girl a bit of slack says, you know, damn, cancel culture sucks. She's matured since then. I'm sure she regrets saying that. Which I think is so interesting. Even Urban Dictionary is kind of giving that a spin, and both sides of saying, you know, how about, I think they're saying, how about we take pause and we say, you know, let's evaluate the evidence in front of us. Like I said, to me, the downfall really of this YouTube culture happens when Twitter really came into its own. And I'm not demonizing Twitter or saying that Twitter is really bad or anything. Please don't take it that way. What I'm saying is Twitter gave us this one click of a button access to everything. And that meant that YouTubers' lives were no longer this kind of in our little YouTube box. They were everything. We were getting tweets, we were getting live streams, we were getting everything. We are in these celebrities' lives, these YouTubers' lives, in everyone's lives. And especially with this example, it means that people can pull things from years ago, from 10 years ago in some cases, especially people like Jenna Marbles and what happened with her. Jenna Marbles had released a video, I believe around 10 years ago, imitating Nicki Minaj and wearing, for lack of a better word, what people are referring to as blackface. And the internet took that, found that. Twitter found what she had done and immediately cancelled her. Jenna Marbles cancelled, was trending, everything like that. And it was really intense, and to the point where she has done an apology video. She is obviously very upset and she has decided to indefinitely leave the platform. Something which has been her job for around the past 10 years, if not longer. And I think that with all of this immediate click and immediate news and wanting to be the first out there, people wanting to do the right thing most of the time, I'm sure for a really good reason, but people cancelled her and her whole career is over. And some people say, you know, she did this thing, she suffered the consequences, and then that's that. But other people may say, you know, and this isn't me sticking up for one side or the other, I'm just saying that when you look at what Jenna Marbles has done and become over the past 10 years, she deleted that video years ago. She's apologized at least a few times for this, and she has shown that her as a person, she is no longer that person, and she has improved herself and she has become a better person and taken that on board and stopped doing those videos. I just wonder what happened to forgiveness under certain circumstances. It's just whatever happened to having a creator that says something that you don't like, that says something or does something that you completely disagree with, and just stopping watching, you just stop watching that person if you don't like their content anymore, or if they've offended you, you can let them know. Some people on Twitter, it's this mob mentality, everyone attacks and make sure that they tear these people down. I think that not everybody stops to pause and stops to look at what has happened as a whole and in a context of the larger world and what's happening around us. And I think that that is something that needs to be talked about more, because it feels like sometimes Twitter is this echo chamber where that's okay. You see one bad thing and you immediately just rip this person apart. The same thing happened, and I'm frightened to bring this up, but the same thing happened with Sarah's Day recently. She had a campaign and she had braided her hair all the way down with extensions, and she was under so much fire for that. She had braids and people were saying that it was cultural appropriation, and she had to scrap her campaign she worked so hard on and she had to refilm it. Her whole launch could have been ruined if she didn't have time, or she couldn't have had the budget to refilm a campaign, etc. And I just wonder, at the time when so much else in our world is going on, whether that was the appropriate response to tear someone down, and not just tear her down. I saw comments I don't even want to repeat, not just on this platform but put out into the universe, people threatening her child, her family, sending threats to her family, sending threats that they would hurt her family because she wore braids in her hair. And again, it's up to you to decide whether she went out that day, put braids in her hair and decided that she was going to culturally appropriate, or whether she just loved the hairstyle her hairstylist came up with and thought it fit the campaign, and then woke up the next day after releasing it and had death threats to her child and her family. And I just feel like if we have all of this energy to put into things like that, why aren't we fighting for what really, really matters? If we have enough energy to tear down Sarah's Day and to tear down Jenna Marbles for things they did and have apologised for, do we have that energy to put it into something that really, really matters, like what's going on with the police right now in the world, and what's going on with climate change, and what's really, really going on, not losing sight of being in this Dramageddon Twitter bubble, YouTube bubble, But can we use that energy for things that just really, really matter? We are putting these people above everything else, and we are making them trend on Twitter above real crimes and real things that are going on. As a very, very micro small YouTuber right now, I am terrified of this. I think that sometimes we can be a little bit too quick to jump the gun and a little bit too quick to cancel people. I'm sure that you or someone you know may have said something that they deeply regret, whether it was in an argument, whether it was just off the cuff because they didn't know any better. Something that they just regret saying, and in real life they have apologized and lived through what they did, and they've come out of the other end a better person with any luck, with any hope, and continued to just live and have a job and just improved as a person from it and just become a better person without it looming over them. And the thing with being in the public, and I know there's going to be comments saying, you know, well, they put themselves in the public eye and all of this. It's so difficult. I feel like we hold influencers and celebrities and things, I feel like we hold YouTubers up to this standard and this ethereal being who they make no mistakes. They are not allowed. They have a young and impressionable audience in and everything. There isn't a rule book for YouTubers. There isn't a rule book that says, you know, you have to be this person who is amazing and does all this incredible thing and never say anything wrong. And I'm not saying that they should have said or done these things. I'm just saying that we hold them to a higher standard, and I just wonder if that's the right thing. What this cancel culture has created is a terrifying environment for smaller YouTubers and for other creators, large creators, all creators, anyone who's on the internet. We have created this cancel culture, this fear of something being dug up about you that you may not have even realised, or maybe trying to just forget and move on from. I'm not saying you should ever be silent and not stand up for real injustice. I'm not saying that. You should use your voice and you should be campaigning for justice for everybody. I'm just wondering if the crime fits the punishment of cancelling someone and publicly tearing their career and their person and their families apart over what can sometimes turn out in the end. We don't even know where Dramageddon stands right now. We don't know what allegations are true and what allegations aren't true. But we were so quick to jump on James Charles. We still don't know. We may never know, and the story has been muddied along the way, but it's the same for a lot of creators. We don't know where their hearts were, where their heads were, what they thought was right, what they thought wasn't, whether they've repented. And I feel like we should be taking all of this into consideration before publicly tearing them down. I just wonder what it accomplishes and why we can't be using that energy to just say, you know, this person did this thing, this person says these things, I don't particularly like their brand, I don't particularly like them. I'm going to go and watch someone that I do like, and I'm going to spend that extra time signing petitions for the climate, signing petitions for Black Lives Matter, signing petitions for things that are genuinely going on right now that mean so much. There are people out there who over the past few weeks things have come out about them which frankly I don't agree with, frankly I have a problem with. Frankly, people who I may have admired and looked up to, who I'm disappointed in, who I'm not going to publicly cancel but who I will no longer support. When do we stop giving people the energy? When do we stop fueling this constant cycle of drama? When do we let YouTube just become what it was meant to be? Or at least what it became, which is just people loving YouTube, people loving the craft, people loving putting their lives and their videos out there and content and having an audience and nurturing their audience and just providing just this escape for people who are maybe suffering through things or just need a second on their own to watch their favourite content and to hear all about the day of their favourite creator. When is that going to come back? Because now it just feels like the top 5 baddies of YouTube, the top 5 people who are always in this cycle of drama, tearing down the beauty community, tearing down other communities, pretending that that is the beauty community. We all know this drama with James Charles and Tati and stuff. You know, this isn't the beauty community. This isn't who they are. How many apologies do people need to make before we know they've changed? What gives us the moral high ground to cancel people? And this cancel culture is creating a fear amongst creators where you're seeing less and less of what they really think and what their lives are really like, because it's this edited Instagram version of what they want you to see, because they are so afraid that you're going to cancel them for their hair or for something they said, something someone took in a wrong way, or half a voice clip or half a video clip that makes something look like something was extremely wrong that they said, when in reality we're already past the finish line. They've already been cancelled by the time that someone says, actually, I watched that video and that's not what they said. Their reputation is tarnished. That's it. They've been cancelled. They've lost hundreds of thousands of subscribers. That's it. Their name won't be the same again. And I just wonder how many people we're going to cancel. Is there anyone who hasn't said or done something in their past, including the people that are watching this video, including me, including everyone? Have you never said or done something that you regret in the past out of anger or just out of sheer stupidity? You know, imagine your life being torn apart 10 years later because someone found that out. I just feel like if we're going to cancel everybody, every creator that has ever said or done something wrong, that we will not have anybody left. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know it was a little bit different, a bit out of the ordinary. I hope you enjoyed it anyway. If you did like this video, please subscribe. I make university lifestyle and this kind of content, I suppose, every single Friday. So if you like it, please leave a like and leave a comment letting me know what you think about cancel culture and how you found this video, especially because the format will be a bit different. And yeah, I can't wait to see you guys next week, hopefully for a bit of a half-year video. Thank you so much for your support. Thanks for watching all the way through if you got to this point, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.